talking about a metal show today. People will sometimes wonder if I like Stryper because I give him such a hard time with the Brother Buford character, but I do. It was a wonderful time. We had a blast. My wife and I went for our 24th wedding anniversary to see them almost 30 years after the first time we saw them together as teenagers in a youth group. It was incredibly good. Not only did we get to see them in concert, but before the show started, we got to go backstage and listen to them sound check, and then we got to meet them. I've been to Tim's house before and got to meet him, and that was really cool. I got to hang out with him, and being able to be in his house and see the records hanging on the walls, and it was just a really cool thing to be able to do.
Stryper is one of those bands that's trying very hard to keep hard rock and metal alive. I hope we're doing a good job of it. This one goes back all the way to 1984, when we were about 4.
One thing I did notice about the concert, though, was the audience. I was watching everyone around me. People knew their songs. People were jumping up, had their hands in the air. There was another band playing, a secular metal band playing the same night, and there were some of those people in the audience as well that was watching, kind of seeing what was going on. And it was interesting to see the dynamic between that crowd and the Stryper crowd. This whole deal going on around me, watching these people in this audience, I got to wondering about this, in my life. Do I have an audience? And the answer is yes, I do have an audience. It's a mixed audience. I've got an audience where I work, which is primarily folks that are in a hardware store. They're not necessarily there because I'm a believer or because they come to see me. Kind of like the audience that was there to see the secular metal band that wasn't there to see Stryper, but they still observed them. I have an entire audience of people that see me every day and are watching me every day. And really, I wonder if my life, living my life, is an example of what Jesus has done for me, or is it really just a performance, just an acting game where I get up there and I play a part? I want my body to be an instrument. I want it to be something that God uses to play His song for people. I'm really concerned about that. There's a passage of scripture found in Galatians chapter 1 verse 10, and it says, "Obviously I'm not trying to win the approval of people, but of God. If pleasing people were my goal, I would not be Christ's servant." Do I have an audience of people that I'm trying to please? Or am I trying to please the Holy God that I serve? Am I trying to please Him? He should be my one and only audience. If I had 0 likes on the video below, if I had 0 people that watched it, if it did nothing for anyone, but my life pleased God, then I'm a success. Because at the end, when it's all said and done and over, and I walk up to Him, I want Him to look at me, recognize me, know me for the man that I was and the service that I did for Him, and say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." So let's go out and let's do something really special. What do we always do at the end of my podcast? We
give them heaven.